What's up everyone, P-Dog here, and for this video I wanted to tell you guys about a certain email that I received, and this email pretty much was the most important message I've ever received in my life, and that's my DPT admission letter. So I'm just gonna go ahead and tell you pretty much how this message pretty much changed my entire life. So it all started when my parents, well, I'll just give you a history lesson. So after the Vietnam War, this was what, 1970s, around there, and my parents were from the South, and after the war they had to migrate to Southern California. So my parents ended up pretty much immigrated from Vietnam to Southern California, and that's where I was born. And I never really understood from the beginning why my parents, they were so adamant on pushing their kids on to become a doctor. And I just realized that growing up, going through high school and college, they kept striving, they kept pushing me, my siblings, to become doctors or some kind of something big in the medical field. So I guess that was the Vietnamese dream, according to my family. And when I was in undergrad, I was what, 21, 22 years old at the time. I just didn't want to listen to my parents. When they said, "Oh, we're gonna, we just want you to become a doctor and everything," and I just blew them off because, they didn't realize, they didn't know how difficult or how crazy it was to, to land a career like that. But I'd say, what got me to change was, my dream was, becoming a personal trainer or something in the fitness field. And then when I realized that, I can't, it was very hard for me to keep up with this, this lifestyle. And I realized, I needed to do something more serious now, where I would need to, get a house, have a family, and raise kids. So during this time, I thought that, pursuing the highest form of kinesiology, which was, exercise science, which ended up, being physical therapy. So, me living on my own, living with roommates, I grew really tired of it, and I realized, this wasn't going anywhere. So I made the decision to go back home to my parents' house and decided to commit to begin my journey to become a physical therapist. So after 2 or 3 years, I finally got my prereqs done, because that's the biggest thing that I had to pretty much work on to get in. I got all my hours done, my letter of recommendations, and I finally got in. Well, I finally got all the prereqs, everything done after 2-3 years of going through classes. And the first year, I told you guys in the other videos that first year didn't even go through. My transcript, half of my grades weren't even there, so that was a complete waste. But I realized that it wasn't going to happen the first try. And second year, the second cycle, I got turned down by all of the applications, all the grad schools I applied to, and I only got waitlisted for one school. And that gave me enough hope to continue. So the third cycle, I applied to even more schools, and I completed, I got all A's and B's in all my classes. However, it was pretty discouraging because, I got a lot of everyone. It felt like everyone was saying no to me. All these schools are just telling me, "Hey, we don't think you're smart enough." And I was losing hope. It was a very scary feeling, where I was, there'd be nights where I would just be driving, And then I keep thinking to myself, man, none of these schools want me. Like, man, am I really that bad of a, student? And there were plenty of times where I just felt like giving up and I just realized, man, what's the point of doing all this? Everyone is telling me that I'm pretty much dumb. And, but I kept my hopes up. I was able to get some interviews. I got waitlisted again. And, I was building momentum. But, yeah, it was very tough, being a third cycle and, not going anywhere. So it got to the point where even my parents they were getting impatient and they were losing faith as well, where they just kept asking, "Hey, what are you doing with your life? Why aren't you going anywhere? What's up with the physical therapy program? How come we haven't heard anything?" And all I kept telling them was, "Hey, can you just be patient? Just I'm doing everything I can, and don't worry. Eventually, I'm gonna go somewhere." So at this time, I was not only applying to a bunch of PT schools, but I had to find a second job on top of my full-time job. So I was working maybe 40 to 60 hours a week to pay off my grad school applications. Some of these schools require a secondary application fee. uh, PT schools, they required for you to take a giant exam called the GRE exam. And every school they requested that you send in your scores to each school, and that comes with the price. So I was spending all this money, and I realized that me being in fitness and pretty much in sales, my belief that it's a numbers game. So I thought to myself, the more I put in, the more I'm going to get out of it. And yeah, I remember exactly where I was when the day happened. I was working as a job coach on the weekends, but during this particular time, I decided to work on the weekday. And being a job coach, it was chill. You just there the client, they had to work, whatever you know, whatever the position they were, you had to come in as a job coach and make sure they're doing everything right. And I remember this place. It was not a weed dispensary, but they made like edible candies, and it was in like a laboratory setting. And I remember my phone rang, or it was vibrating, and then I pulled my phone, and it was the area code says 509, and that's the area code for Washington, and it says Pacific Northwest University. I was like, whoa, this is, what could this be? So I answered the phone call, and they said, "Hey, is this Perry Nguyen?" I'm like, "Yeah, it is." And then they said, "Hey, we just want to let you know that we're offering you an admission. We're offering you an acceptance letter to join our DPT program." And it was crazy because it wasn't even excitement. I mean, yeah, I was excited, but it was more of the fact that as I sat there and I overheard it, man, the biggest thing on my mind was, wow, I spent 5, 6 years preparing for this day to happen, which I did not expect for this day to happen, but it happened. Just one day, you're telling yourself, man, no one in this world wants, pretty much wants me to study or anything. I'm such a bad student. I feel like I don't have no value, and I'm not going anywhere. And then the next day, "Hey, you ready to be a doctor now? Your start date is in August, so get ready." And oh man, that was a bunch of emotions went through my head, during that phone call. And yeah, I remember that date. It was March 24th, 2022, and this was around 11 a.m. ish. And yeah, that was intense because I admit I'm not that great of a student. I consider myself like a C student, and knowing that, wow, you're gonna be, you get ready to be a doctor this August. And the biggest thing that went through my head was, man, am I gonna, I put in all the time and effort to become a doctor, and do I have what it takes? You know, I just, I still think about it every single day, every single second. Am I gonna do well in this program? Am I gonna survive? So I think ever since March 24th till today, I think about it 24/7, every single second. How am I gonna, am I gonna last in this program? Do I have what it takes? So I just want to let you guys know that, this email that I received, my admission letter, that was the most important, uh, you know, email that I ever received in my life, and that, all it takes is just one admission letter, one license, one certificate to change your life. And if you guys think that you guys aren't content, or you guys aren't satisfied with where you're at, maybe you hate your job, or maybe you're not where you want to be in life. All it takes is just one. It just takes one certificate, or one license, or one admission letter to completely change everything. And that it pretty much let me know that, hey, here's your door to your second life, or here's a door to escaping out of this poverty, escaping out of this miserable lifestyle that you've been going through. And yeah, it's just, that was very, I think about it every single moment. And I just want to let you guys know that all it takes is just one message saying, hey, are you ready to become the person that are you ready to become the person you're destined to become? And yeah, that's all I have for today. So I hope you guys learned a lot from this, and know that you don't have to be satisfied. You don't have to stay where you're at. As long as you make a decision to become something, and follow the necessary steps, it's possible. Alright guys, so that's it. Hopefully you guys like this video, and yeah, subscribe for more. Yeah.